I just have a few questions, Minister. To dovetail off of what MP Roseberg said, to me, if my memory serves me correct, back in 2000 and I would say 16 or 2014, somewhere in that range, that proposal, there was a proposal that was made by the then Minister of Justice, Roland Duncan. I believe it was in between 2010 and 2014. It was a good proposal where if someone, and the whole breakdown had come to Parliament, where how much it would save government if someone wasn't legal, undocumented, and they will do a certain their time will be less than someone who's from St. Martin, and then they will be automatically deported back to their country, and it was accepted by Parliament. And if my memory serves me correct, one of the mechanisms that we have in our system is the Constitutional Court. And the ruling that came back from the Constitutional Court was that it was unconstitutional because it's a form of discrimination, because as such, if two people commit the same crime, why is one getting less? And the members of Parliament agreed with the proposal by the Minister of Justice, but constitutionally, it was not allowed. So I think that plan was scrapped. And again, if you can, find out exactly the time and if that indeed was the case. The next question I want to know, how many prisoners were sent to Bonaire? And then I also want to know if the prison in Bonaire, because there's been a lot of talk in St. Martin in regards to human rights violations in our prison, and we know where our prison is both the police holding cells and the prison at Point Blanche. That's why there is actually a plan to have the prison redone. Can you tell me if the prison in Bonaire has or is meeting the human rights standards? So if it's up to par, because I don't want the impression to be given also that the prisoners are sent to a substandard prison in Bonaire as well. So I think that is something that needs to be, just for clarity's sake, whether it's the ward where they hold the criminals or the psych ward. I need to know if that facility is up to human rights standards. And I would like to commend you on answering the questions on behalf of the Minister of Justice, and thank you very much.
Thank you, MP Myers, and I now give the floor to MP Otley. MP Otley, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I'd just like to publicly second the basically direction of my colleague, MP Myers. I think that we should look into certain things, especially the policies that were there before. I think that it can do a lot for the situation that we are in now. So, sometimes we can go at it on the floor of Parliament, but when I hear a good idea, if I can say it behind your back, I can say it publicly. Madam Chair, I hear my colleague mention and made reference to my comment on the payment of police, MP Roseberg, on the payment of police, but I didn't leave nothing in the air. I'm just saying what the minister stated. Through you, Madam Chair, also the Minister of Finance was on the radio station saying that if the budget 2025 don't pass, if opposition don't pass it, then opposition is against the payment of police. So I'm asking a question that was stated by the Honorable Minister yesterday. She said that the delayed payment of police has nothing to do with the delayed payment of budget 2025. So I'm asking then what is causing the delay. So I didn't put nothing in the air. I don't want nobody to speak for me. So just wanted to make that clear. Thank you.
Thank you, MP Otley. MP Roseberg, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to add to what I said before in regards to what was brought forward, the policy plans and the previous plans that I referred to and that MP Myers also added to, those are available through the minister. The minister has that in their possession. So I would like to know if these were reviewed and what the conclusion has been in regards to that, because it's not something new and has been brought up. So I hope that we can get clarity on that matter. Other than that, in regards to the several visits that were restricted, if that has been fixed, if the inmates are currently getting visits and telephone calls with their family members, and if that is also properly arranged with the ones in Bonaire. Other than that, in regards to the comment that was just made, I just would like to make it clear that it was mentioned in regards to the payments, that no payments would be able to be made. So I would like to get clarified what the status is of that, because the public is listening. And if something was said on the radio or not, I'm not aware of that, but I would like to know what kind of consequences that can have for the people of St. Martin. So just for that to be clarified, if in the past no payments were made or if that's incorrect. Yes, thank you, Madam Chair.
I really have a problem. The reason why I didn't elaborate much on things is because we have the acting Minister of Justice here. And I was looking forward to have the actual Minister of Justice because I like to watch her straight in her eyes. The country will always have a staffing issue. This is a comment. It will always have a staffing issue, but it's the way that we manage. It is also known already that the Minister of Justice is not a social person. And sometimes I think we need to understand that the ministry that we have, and I'm going to keep saying it, is very social. The people are complaining that the minister does not touch base with them. They feel out of touch. And in order for you to get work done, you have to have that type of relationship with your staff. Whether you're short staff or not, people will work with you once you're willing to work with them. I hope the minister is listening and that this again can reign somewhere in her mind, that she needs to become more of a social person. I understood that she moved from the main building as well and positioned herself at Elledge Road. That also proves to me that she's trying to distance herself from being around people. And if that is the case, then we're in the wrong position.
One additional question that I forgot to ask, because I asked in regards to the visits, but I also would like to know, seeing that rehabilitation, resocialization is a must, if the educational programs, if they have started as well, and also the work, because the law gives inmates the opportunity to work, if that has started as well. And if not, if there's any clarity when that will start.
How long are the inmates, how long are they designated to remain in Bonaire? That's one. According to me, according to the information that I received, the reason in which the minister moved from the government building, the administration building, to 80 Elledge Road was because of the mold in her office, as such. So, and you know, it's a sad thing when we start to judge people's character. Not everyone is the same. I'm a personable person, but not everyone is the same. It does not necessarily mean that a person is incapable of the work, and it does not. And I know how it is to hold political positions, because I myself has held many political positions in this country, and I have been scrutinized that, now that I'm a minister or a commissioner, I feel that I'm white. Those were some of the comments that I've got along the way, because the misconception that people have is because they know of your name. They know the name Franklin Myers, they know the name Darrell York, or even MP Lyndon Lewis. They feel because they know the name, they know the person. and they know the moods of the person. Now, like I said, I say that to say not everyone is the same. And I believe that on the floor of Parliament, when we are talking about a particular person or any person, I think it's prudent to speak about their capabilities rather than their personality. I think that's the crux, and that's the importance of us keeping in here to a certain level, because if we start to talk about the personalities of people, it does not do this House any justice, or it does not do any justice to the people of this country. So let's try to keep the personalities out of it, and let's stick to the capabilities, whether somebody is actually capable of handling the function, yes or no.
How do ideas become plans? Plans become memories.
So you like my new bro?
And dreams become your life.
This is retirement.
Do you remember when hope became a house? When that house became a home? Your ideas are everything, and we're here to help make them happen. Your idea of yes, I can happens here.
Your social and health insurance is your social and health insurance.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
Your social and health insurances.
24/7 TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com, SXM Daily News, PBS NewsHour, Now You Know, Com programs, documentary, entertainment, sports events, Saturday children's hours, religion programs, and movies. Click on SXM TV broadcast to see your favorite programs.
The amount of permits that has been signed from January 2025 until present is as follows. 10 permits in January, 5 approved and 1 denied. In February, a total of 6 permits, 8 permits, 7 approved and 1 denied in March, for a total of 8 permits, 4 permits in April, and 19 approved and 4 denied in May, a total of 23 permits. This gives a total of 51 permits signed. The Permits Department is working on a plan of action to tackle the matter, and we'll extrapolate on this in a further response. A couple of months ago, the minister made public that there's bribery happening in the Permits Department, and he would be investigating. Has the Ministry of Justice been involved in the investigation? Does the ministry have any leads? Let me first begin by answering that first question. The ministry has enlisted TWO as to be part of their baseline measurement on being undertaken in government to review current procedures, their effectiveness, and ways to improve. This is critical in supporting our move towards digitization of our processes, which will build accountability and transparency in requesting not only permits, but also waivers and inspection reports. In addition, the ministry will launch a forensic audit of decision-making that will cover not only the Department of Permits, but the ministry as a whole. This will form part of the investigation. Back to the question, has the Ministry of Justice been involved in investigation? The Ministry of Justice has been consulted, and hence a suggestion to address this holistically as part of a review of the ministry, with the aim of creating an environment that diminishes opportunities for bribery. Part of creating the environment is speaking about it. Yes, we are on a small island, but unfortunately, not saying or doing anything doesn't solve the issue. It only facilitates it and demotivates civil servants who come to work each and every day and do the right thing. Does the ministry have any leads? As stated in my press statements, there are correlations between processing times in particular. These will be reviewed during initiatives undertaken. What is important to recognize is that finding people willing to come forward is not easy. As such, I have repeatedly made reminders throughout my time as minister highlighting the following. 1, permits only comprise of 2 costs, the processing fee and the government contribution that is clearly indicated on all permits. 2, the negative impact on the economy and credibility of doing business in St. Martin due to instances of corruption. Has anyone been suspended? Has anyone been fired? Has anyone been questioned? To all of these questions, the answer is no. And finally, in that question, the MP asked, investigation status, and of course, I believe I've given you a overview of this in my opening remarks to the question. The MP's next question, this is MP York still, which projects has the ministry executed outside of the road resurfacing project and side road project? The ministry is executing a total of 8 projects outside the 2 mentioned. These cover a wide range of topics and include 2 in erosion mitigation, 2 in stormwater management, 1 in administration and procedural enhancement, 1 in capacity study, 1 in a drainage management project, and 1 in an environmental protection fund. In addition, 3 private-public partnerships are being explored to address critical infrastructure needs. The motion pertaining to zoning, pond protection, and beach policies and beach access by the MP. Has the ministry done anything with it since it has been passed? If so, what has been done? What is slated to be done, and the MP requests timelines. As previously mentioned, we are in the process of developing green zoning framework, scoping a coastal erosion geotechnical study, setting up a zoning team, and hiring legal expertise. Are the stormwater pumps operational? If yes, what are their capacity? When will the stormwater pumps be installed, which has been lingering for years? And who has responsibility, NRPB or government? The pump located at the Vromy Yard was repaired last year and has since failed again, and is undergoing repairs, expected to be back online later this month. However, the Pumpside Garden has been deemed reparable for some years now. The National Recovery Program Bureau, NRPB, is not involved in the procurement of new pumps. This responsibility lies with the Ministry of Vromy, with assistance from the Dutch ministry, BZK. The tender process for replacing the pumps is now in the evaluation phase, with installation expected by December 2025. Is there a calamity post for government to tap into for disaster relief for residents with regards to food, water, and building materials? If yes, where exactly is that budgeted? Such assistance is offered via VSA, not VROMI. As to the budget post, I have asked my colleague minister to provide the information. Seeing the time frame we have gone through with the landfill, to still have it not reprofiled and Irma landfill still not removed, are we ready for another wave of debris if a serious hurricane hits the island? If no, what is the suggested solution and what is the price tag for this solution? The intervention on the landfill is part of the Emergency Debris Management Program, EDMP. It is important to note the following. EDMP has had several different phases. The decision to have physical intervention in the landfill was only taken in 2022. In the event of another major storm similar to Hurricane Irma, St. Martin is not yet adequately prepared to handle a new wave of debris as it relates to space. Part of the project requirements is that an alternative site for emergency waste disposal be sought. VROMI is investigating the options that include both local, temporary solutions, as well as international long-term solutions, combined with implementation of a circular economy, inclusive of recycling and composting. Illegal garages. We are still on the questions of MP York. Illegal garages. A couple of months ago, the minister had an article where he stated that he would be cracking down on illegal garages. What is the status of this, and have garages been closed since December? The ministry, in conjunction with TEAT, has conducted several site visits to ensure legality of garages. Upon inspection, garages are stopped and given the opportunity to legalize if possible. The possibility of this is, of course, based on draft zoning laws and the applicability of a hindrance permit. During the visit, it was noted that a number of places are in fact not operating as mechanics, but as storage sites for several objects besides vehicles. This would therefore not fall within the scope of the hindrance permit, but directly under the waste ordinance, wherein which such storage is deemed unlawful. The ministry then informs owners that such practices, i.e. storage or hoarding of items, are not permitted and must therefore be removed. There is a boom going towards Blue Marine. Who owns that land? Is it government land or private land? Since when has this been private land? Government owns the land and it is issued in long lease to Resorts of the World. A building permit was issued for the security booth. What are the plans for the use of the recently procured funds? This is in relation to the SDE++. St. Martin has been allocated approximately 35 million euros out of the 150 million euro subsidy allocation from SDA++. The funds are earmarked for energy transition, but can only be used to invest in areas that cannot be financed through the market due to expense, risk, or complexity. During the Caribbean Climate and Energy Conference in Curacao, I spoke on the level of penetration of renewable energy in St. Martin. The current GB concession agreement requires a 2% minimum. This currently stands at 0. The only country in the kingdom or islands in Dutch Caribbean without any source derived from renewables. The regional standard now stands at 25%. Given that the current conditions for use of the subsidy are high, while in the Netherlands last week, I had meetings with the Ministry of Climate and Inclusive Green Growth regarding the need for support for St. Martin at the very primary levels. We have submitted a proposal to the ministry and are awaiting consideration for its use. I believe these are now moving on to the questions of MP Duran. Yes. The MP would like to know if the defense notes the plaidoyer, St. Dominic, all those different documents that should be working, functioning governments, the best interest in regards to building permit court cases of the last year can be provided to Parliament. Dear Chair Lady, I fully respect Parliament's oversight role and share its commitment to transparency. However, I must also be clear. The documents being requested, such as legal defenses and pleadings, are part of a confidential legal proceedings. They include internal legal strategies and privileged communication between the ministry and its legal counsel. Disclosing such information could seriously compromise the government's legal position, especially in an ongoing case. It's also important to point out the ministry's position are already reflected in official court rulings. These are in fact public and provide an objective, transparent, and authoritative summary of the arguments made by all parties, including the government.
Your social and health insurance is your social and health insurance.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
Your social and health insurances.
How do ideas become plans? Plans become memories.
So you like my new bro?
And dreams become your life.
This is retirement.
Do you remember when hope became a house? When that house became a home? Your ideas are everything, and we're here to help make them happen. Your idea of yes, I can happens here.
24/7 TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com, SXM Daily News, PBS NewsHour, Now You Know, comm programs, documentary, entertainment, sports events, Saturday children's hours, religion programs, and movies. Click on SXM TV broadcast to see your favorite programs.
It's hurricane season. Are you prepared? Hurricanes are massive storm systems that form over the water and move toward land. Threats from hurricanes include high winds, heavy rainfall, storm surge, coastal and inland flooding, rip currents, and tornadoes. In the event of a hurricane, you've got to know where to go. If you're ordered to evacuate, know the local hurricane evacuation routes to take and have a plan for where you can stay. This public service announcement was brought to you by the government of St. Martin.
Is there an update on how many of every single kind of licenses that was given out and their cost, like vendors' licenses, license amendments, all public transportation licenses, etc.? How many were given in the last year by counts? Car rentals, school buses, gaming license, all of them. The list of types is found on the website and needs to be presented to Parliament. Licenses issued are registered based on the license group type that they belong to. So the license issues are not broken down based on the list that is posted via the government's website. The count for the last year is about 916, of which business licenses and directors and cancellations were 2/3 of the total. No taxi and bus licenses were issued during this time. This table will be shared with Parliament with the references as well as a breakdown. In the last budget debate, the next question, it was spoken about issues with driving exams and the ideas. And were any of these ideas implemented? The complaints keep coming, and the population and the driving instructors are extremely frustrated. Through you, Madam Chair Lady, in response to the MP's questions, I can provide the following update. It was recommended that the legacy radio-based data link be decommissioned on May 20th, 2025. A dedicated fiber optic backbone was officially brought online. This new fiber connection has fully stabilized both the internet and the exam server environment, effectively eliminating the frequent outages that previously disrupted exam delivery. The ICT department is actively monitoring network uptime in real time to quickly detect and resolve any potential issues. The department is now initiating a move to a cloud-based testing platform and digitizing manual administrative workflows. This will streamline registration, scheduling, reset reporting, and real-time support, delivering a modern, customer-oriented service. The department intends to develop an in-house appointment system for both theory and practical exams and will digitize practical test scoring and records to enhance professionalism, transparency, and oversight. These measures established a resilient technical foundation through close collaboration with ICT and our own operational team, pave the way for a fully modernized professional and transparent driving exam service. The MP heard about the nice plans to have a meeting for the Phillipsburg master plan, but the budget is $50,000, and the MP would like to know how can I execute this plan with just that amount, or was that amount just was there to put the plan together? And many buildings need to be torn down, some needs to be done, and sometimes something needs to be done even if you have the mural painted on them. So I can say to the MP that we are only in the initial phase of the Phillipsburg's much-needed transformation process. The last major beautification project happened long before, but the recent town hall meeting generated essential feedback which will influence the final plan. The execution of this long-term vision will incorporate multiple breakout projects throughout its staged implementation process. Enthusiastic stakeholders' consultation indicated that public-private partnerships will play an important role to reduce costs for some initiatives. We would like to start the initial projects this year, while more costly implementation will take place. And to answer the part where it stated that the $50,000, that is mainly just to come up with the beautification plan in itself. Can we get a real update on the marketplace? Market vendors are complaining, and can we get a real outline on it? The Phillipsburg marketplace reconstruction is a top priority, and we recognize all vendors concerned, and we are currently awaiting adjustments to the architectural drawings. Once these changes reach completions, construction activities will begin. Were any cost-cutting measures put in place in the last year, along with any revenue-generating measures? The ministry did not have any cost-cutting measures last year. However, we did provide revenue-generating measures to be worked on in 2025, which will hopefully be reflected in Budget 2026. Said measures that can lead to an increase in revenues is as follows: hotel tax, timeshare tax, and ODM in compliance. Should said measures be reviewed, implemented, and adopted, it can anticipate to have additional revenues. A table with further elucidation will be provided to the Member of Parliament for further review and analysis. Next question. We always got a report from the airport for how many flights and passengers came in and from where they came from for marketing reasons. So can the minister send those reports for the same months, February, March, April, May, as above, and to see if the numbers make any sense? Yes, we can. Through you, Madam Chair Lady, we can. And as we receive it, we will be sharing this data with the Member of Parliament, and we will submit it accordingly to the Parliament as well. Next question. It was mentioned for specific resorts where 20,000 people stayed. Can we see these specifics from those? Walking around at Soul Beach, there were complaints there where they compared the event to Aruba. And then the MP is asking if you can get a plan on where we are today and the pitfalls and such to do better for next year's Soul Beach and the number we expect and the revenues that will be generated, not big stories. So the answer to that is, while preliminary figures were shared during early discussions, of which no mention of 20,000 people were mentioned, I would prefer to refrain from stating any further numbers at this time. This is to avoid any premature conclusions, unnecessary speculations, or politicized interpretations of data that is still being reviewed. The intent has always been to be transparent and engage stakeholders meaningfully. Unfortunately, some of the openness is now being taken out of context, which only distracts from the real work being done to improve our events and outcomes. That said, a comprehensive overview, including of visitor data and economic impact, feedback, and lessons learned, will be shared once the SER concludes its independent study. From there, we can provide a clear outline of where we stand today, the challenges encountered, and how we intend to improve for decision-making on the way forward.